welcome. Yes, it's Transformation Tuesday, rewind, right?
Right. Feels like
Ah,
spring.
welcome, Paradigm Shifters, and welcome to Transformation Tuesday for December 12th, 2023. So let's take a deep breath into this moment, right here, right now, wherever you are, perfectly imperfect, we're right here together for Transformation Tuesday. Paradigm Shifters, who are we? Paradigm Shifters, we are a growing global dedicated group, community, dedicated to shift and uplift the planet. How's that, Julie?
I love it. I love it.
Shifting up.
That's right. Shifting
And
up
we've
a
been
little.
doing this ever since March of 2020. It was one of those, okay, everything's shutting down. Now what do we do? And we every Tuesday we've been coming on with a different topic to shift and uplift the world. And we are a little over 1,600 members strong from all around the world, globalness. And every month we have a different main topic. Now, the topic for December in let's see the topic of December for 2023 is your gifts opening your gifts. So as we continue on this opening our gifts of transformation, we're following the gifts of love from last week. With this week we're talking about the gift of hope and faith. And we began last week with Kay Stedmans, and this week we have Julie Deanne. And before I introduce you, I want to tell you about when I was your age. And when I was a young mom in the 70s, and we went and we lived in northern Wisconsin on all, and but it was a long story. Built a house out of an old barn and had these woods in the back, and it was snowy and very cold right now. But we would have this tradition of going back into the forest and chopping down the top of one of the trees and hauling it on the toboggan to our house. And, I would put my daughter Jill, who was 3, and Jody, who was 1, on the toboggan and pull them back with the tree to the house. And one of the things that was important for me at the time was to teach them that we're borrowing the top of that tree to decorate it with cranberries and birdseed and that. And everything we did was handmade, and we would put it back out for the birds to eat. And it was like our gift, a symbol of hope and faith and love. So for me, there was that faith that in teaching and showing our children, that's what you're doing, and my kids about nature, and that there was this faith that it would be here for years to come. This faith that we can enjoy years to come. So that's my little story about faith and hope. And now my kids, Jill is 51, Jody's 49, and there's even more after that. So I wanted to start that off in this generational, transformation that we're doing. And so here's Julie Deanne, and she's not only about helping people live better lives and thrive. This is what I really love about you. You seek to create a sea change in mass education, to transform not only our children's lives, but our world. And that you were also inspired to write your first children's book. Which would you choose? While meditating with valuable feedback and assistance from your young daughter. So that book is written as a guide to help children learn emotional intelligence and how choosing better thoughts lead to better results in your life. So that just warms my heart. That's my mission as well. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to you, Julianne. And what kind of gifts and nuggets can you impart to our group on hope and faith?
Thank you so much, Judy. I love that story that you shared, and what a gift to give to your children to show them how we are living in this world as all as one. We are all interconnected, and the world is giving to us things to use, and we give back to the world. And that's a powerful, important message. And obviously, for this month of talking about hope and faith, one of the things that we want to do when we're hoping for something, hope by itself is just kind of a wish, and you don't really ignite anything to it. But when you have the faith that that wish is going to happen, and you use the tool of gratitude. So this is a really powerful thing, right? When we feel grateful, you could do this experiment. You just feel grateful. You just start talking about the things in your life that you're grateful for. I'm grateful for a roof over my head, for my family, for running water, just simple things. And then you start getting more deeper into things that really bring you pure love and bliss. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for cherry pie. It's my favorite. Every time I take a bite of that, oh my gosh, it just melts my heart, right? Or chocolate, or whatever it is. When we get into that state of feeling gratitude, it connects us to the state of love, right? Of feeling pure love and bliss. And that is the frequency that is synonymous with attracting more of that to you. So the more you can stay in the state of gratitude and of feeling thankful, then the more you're attracting things to you. So by actually feeling grateful in the moment for something that you're expecting to have in the future, you are igniting that dream to come to you faster. You see the power in that? If you make a statement, I like dogs, but then you say it, I like dogs, and you put that feeling into it, it ignites it. It adds the magnetism, the spark. And that's what really gets our dreams to come to us faster. So it sounds counterintuitive, to be thankful for something before you physically see it, before it's really manifested in your life. But it's actually, that's the magic, truly the magic way that you get your dreams and the things that you want to happen faster. By feeling grateful for them now, you say, I know I don't see it right now, but that's okay, because I know it's coming to me. It's coming to me.
Tell us about your work with your daughter and the kids and your book. I'm so excited about that.
You.
And I love your, are those paper plates with the...
Those are paper plates that my daughter actually did as crafts. Some of them we did like with a group, for a Christmas theme. Some of them we did here. Some of them she did at the daycare when she was younger, and Christmas cards that we like. Yeah, that's just one of those homemade things that we made to decorate for Christmas.
And how old is she now, Mama?
She's already 12 and a half now, going on 30. But oh my goodness, yeah, at the time that I got inspired to write this book, which would you choose?
Yes.
And this sloth, by the way, is based on, I wish I had it here with me, is back in the bedroom, but this huge stuffed animal sloth. He stands, is Biggie. He stands about, if you could stand him up, about 3 feet tall.
Oh, I want to see
that was, did you love that? That was the model for the character of the book. Oh, I love this book. So what happened was after COVID hit and we were all sent home, and I started meditating every day, and I was thinking about an incident that had happened in my daughter's class, years ago when she was younger in grade school. And it was just one day where she came home and she had said that her entire class had been evacuated. And I was like, evacuation? I'm thinking, the worst case scenario. And then I thought, wait a second, I didn't get a call from the school, so it can't be like a, shooter or something. So then I asked her, I said, what do you mean evacuated? And I was thinking, does she even know what that word means? And she said that, yeah, her entire class, because one child was feeling so much emotional overwhelm, did not know how to handle it, and was just, acting out, throwing things and kicking desks. And a couple of kids had gotten hit, with cups and different things. And the teacher was really afraid for the other kids, for their safety. And so she got all the other kids out, and we just left this kid in the room. And my heart went out to that child and the parents and the kids. And I mean, this is, this wasn't the first time, and this isn't the only incident. I mean, I've talked with umpteen parents through the years and heard stories of similar incidents, worse, not as bad, but things like this happening where kids just feel so much emotional overwhelm, and they don't know how to process it in healthy ways. They don't know how to deal with this. And unfortunately, most adults aren't really equipped either to help guide them through that process. They just tell them to stop it or, get over it. And that's not our emotions. We have an emotional intelligence. Okay. Our emotions are providing us with feedback. Just like we have thoughts, we have emotions. So when you think a thought, everything starts with a thought. You think a thought, you're going to get a feeling in the body. And that feeling is telling you whether or not this is a thought that you like or that's going to serve you, or whether it's a thought that maybe you need to rethink. Okay. So when you feel bad or you feel upset, you've got to go back and look at what is it that you're thinking that needs to be shifted. So those feelings that you're having, you've got to let that emotion out, because emotions are really E plus motion, energy in motion. And it's going to be expressed. And if you don't get it out, it's going to be repressed in the body. And that usually manifests as some sort of an illness, or you end up having a tantrum or an outburst later, and it just comes out in a really bad way. So we have to learn how to recognize these emotions, how to get them out in healthy ways. Crying is really very powerful for everybody, men and women both. There should not be any stigma against crying, because that's a healthy way to let out the emotion. And think about it. After you cry, usually your mind is clear, right? You feel
So
calmer.
when you just went back to as a parent and
Mhm.
your emotions as a parent when your child comes, tell me about the moment when you made a decision, because the thing that drew my mind is that you were meditating and that you were modeling meditation and not really forcing her. But I want to know
Mhm.
about that practice where you were teaching her meditation or that quieting. That's what I wanted. Your story must be fascinating right there.
So what I figured out, I'd gotten inspired to write the book. And let me just set the stage here. So the book itself is based on scenarios, incidents that anybody, a lot of children, a lot of adults would have experienced when they were younger. And then you have two columns. You have positive and negative, and to see how you get different results based on the way that you think. Well, I wanted to help my daughter understand that by just taking a moment to take a deep breath, to connect to your heart center, to allow your thoughts, to really be aware of what you're thinking. You can in any moment choose a different thought, choose a better thought, and you're going to get different results in your life. So I asked her, I said, I've developed this little practice, and I went through and I developed a practice where you get the energy out, you shake the body, you move, because I was thinking little kids in elementary, right? They're full of energy. And then getting them to stand and do some deep breathing. So I got her to do the deep breathing with me. And I said, I just want your feedback, to see, do you think that little kids like in third and second grade would, because at the time she was what, sixth grade or something. And I said, do you think that they would like this? So, so she was doing it with me and she was liking it. And then I got to where we would do this like every morning, because it was, we were at home. And so we would do the movement, and she liked that. And then we would do the breathing and just some positive statements. And she would give me feedback. And so she really liked that, right? Because she is now giving me advice on how to change and especially the book. She picked all the names for the characters, or she helped me pick them. And she read all the scenarios. She gave me feedback. I changed them. I altered them. So, I mean, that's why I dedicated it to her, but she was really like my little co-editor. So it was pretty awesome.
So if the more I'm listening, it's like, so this almost is like a COVID miracle because you were behind the screens. You all were at home, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, as his former school teacher, I was like so curious, like, okay, parents, it's you guys, and it seems like that was a spark to something where you co-created it with her and the infant.
Yes.
Yes, what a
Totally.
beautiful, beautiful, uh, wow, beautiful. So yeah, I just wanted to and if you're all taking notes out there, and you want to go back to where you were during that time, what was sparking you to be creative and to calm the energy, knowing that we're having faith that it gets through there. So this is just a gold nugget for everybody to be journaling about. So go for it. Keep going. This is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Well, I do. I've always been one to look on the bright side. And when I look back, I am so truly thankful because my life completely changed during that period. I mean, I was so busy with work and everything. And when everything shut down, you know, being able to have that time with my daughter, just the two of us was so precious. And then being able to actually, co-create things together, like a morning practice and a book, and just talking to her with different things. And so it got to where at night, we would just do the meditation part. And at first, I'll tell you, she was a little resistant. And again, I was like, well, I want to create this as like a nighttime meditation to help kids fall asleep, because the other one was for the daytime. She's like, okay, okay. And no kidding. Within a week, I would say we were doing it every night for a week. It was only a few minutes. The meditation is like maybe 10 minutes. And usually she would fall asleep before we finished. So the cool part is I would start out, I'd have her doing the deep breathing, and then I would start, have her visualize something positive, and then I would start making statements. And I encouraged her to actually repeat the statements after me. And at first, she didn't repeat them, but then she started repeating them. And I was shocked. And I was so happy that she was doing that. And then after a week, she actually said, Mommy, do the meditation. And I was like, oh, yes, it's working. And we kept that up for quite a while. I mean, I will say once she turned 11 and the hormones started kicking in, she started getting like she didn't want me to read to her at night either. And, so things kind of changed a little bit, but she knows the practices and the steps. And she's even told me that she's given advice to her friends about doing the deep breathing. And I'm like, oh, that's so awesome.
Can you give
So
me an example of some of the statements that I, I'm just curious because what statements that you would create with um, a
little
young
kids.
girl, or you want a young boy or girl at that age, just to put that out there for the
Sure.
paradigm shifters, like, okay, statements, I have no clue what that would mean or
Yes.
what they would be.
Yes. I would make just very generic but very loving statements. So I'd always have like the set of core ones, and they would be like, I am enough. I am significant. I matter. I am absolutely lovable just as I am. And I would start out saying them in the second person. I would say, you are enough. You are absolutely lovable. And I'd say, we are all connected. And then I would say, okay, now the statements are in first person, I, but they're about you. So I encourage you to repeat them after me. And then I would say, I'm enough. And that's where the child or she would repeat, I am enough. And so I thought that it was important with kids that you have this, you're talking about them, but then you're transitioning to, this is how you start doing it yourself, and you say it. And then encouraging her to say, you can add in your own statements, I always make friends easily, or everybody loves me. I mean, those are statements I made for myself years ago when I was afraid to go out and make friends. And I was in a new place and I thought, you know what? I'm tired of this. I want to go out and make friends. And this is before I even knew all this stuff about affirmation. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to change that. And it's so powerful. Teaching kids these things is, in my opinion, one of the most important things. It is the most important skill we can teach children, right? Meditation, because meditation, the word just means becoming familiar with. And what we're becoming familiar with is ourselves, is our thoughts and how we think and feel. So when you meditate and you connect by the breathing, and you get into that state of love by feeling gratitude, and then you practice this and you have that image of something that always in a moment's notice, it brings you into that state of feeling gratitude and love. For me, I picture my daughter so many memories when she was just happy, joyful, but I just picture her laughing and just feeling such a joy. And immediately my heart just swells with love and gratitude that I've had that experience and I get to cherish that memory forever. And that she chose me to be her parent. And it grows and grows and grows. And when you feel that, then you start to view the world in a different way and you take different actions and you make different choices. And so if in any moment when things are feeling, you know, harsh or tough, if you can just remember, take a deep breath, connect to that image, that feeling of gratitude and love, and then make your decision or take your action, your life will go much more smoothly and it will feel more aligned and you'll start to see things shifting. So that's what I want kids to understand is this is how you do it. You just have to understand, you take that deep breath, you repeat those statements to get yourself back into that state of feeling good, and then go back over, and reconnect with the kids that you're talking to or the siblings that you're, maybe been fighting with and to shift that around. I think it's a powerful practice that kids and adults can learn and start to model, and it will shift the world. Absolutely. And if we teach it in schools every morning, if it's part of your morning circle time, we've provided those kids with such valuable skills that will serve them for the rest of their lives and have ripple effects out into the world. I
Man.
call it a time within.
Oh,
So I envision that teachers would teach these kids how to take a time within. And so when they're feeling upset, like in school, they could say, I'm going to go over to the time within corner or to the connect corner, and I'm going to take my time within. And then they just do their breathing. And, in the beginning, you'd have to model it. You'd have to practice it with them maybe. But eventually, and it won't take long, they'll do it on their own. Excuse me.
wow.
I think that would be powerful.
Totally writing a vision, of, you know,
You're right.
ripple effect, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what if, wow, what if this time within is curriculum that, we practice ourselves so we can teach it to others and our children and grandchildren here. Grandchildren.
Yes, yes,
How many
yes.
times I find that the grandmothers right now, whatever, are the ones that are going in and like being the calm center in there. And
You're right.
the grandparents that I'm working with a lot of grandparents, and
Yeah.
they're the calm center, and what I was also, coaching a couple of
Love that.
grandparents the other day that also like to see our daughters who are the mothers of our grandkids.
Right.
That I tell you, that's one of the hardest times of my life is raising all those kids. And
Oh,
there was not a calm center there. Let me just tell you that. It was like
oh,
chaotic all the time. But what if we can hold, I'm talking to grandparents here, what if we can hold our daughters who are the moms and just see them in a calm center, even if
mhm.
they, on the outside, it doesn't look like, that we can send them love and encouragement. And then, yes, we as grandparents have the faith that y'all are going to make it to the next day sometimes. But anyway, I just was thought I would throw that in. And here's what I would really love. You want to know what I would love, Julie?
Yeah.
I would love to have you hold up that book again because I think that would make a fantastic Christmas present.
Oh, thank you. There it is. Which would you choose?
Oh,
And I'll show you a sneak peek too of how it's designed.
yeah.
So they're all scenarios. So you have like, you can see how it's positive and negative. And so it has different scenarios, each book. There's 12 scenarios in here. And
Can
so
you
each
show
one has
that
a
again?
different,
Can you show that again? I think my camera was wonky. So go ahead and show it
okay.
again.
The top part too, the front. Yeah, there we go. And then it's all scenarios. You have that. Neat, huh? But yeah, a lot. I mean, all the kids that have read this that I've talked to, I mean, all of them have been like, "Wow, I just love this book." And then I've had adults who've bought it, even if they didn't have kids in their lives, and they read it and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I learned tips. I wish I'd had this when I was younger, and I learned stuff that was helping me. Now it's helping me now." So I was like, "Yes," because my goal is really to teach the kids how to choose better thoughts to get better results, but also so that the parents and the adults and the teachers in their lives also learn this process, start to embody it, and start to reflect that back and guide the kids on doing this. Everything starts with the thought, as Joe Dispenza says. So we just choose better thoughts. We're going to feel better, then we're going to take better actions, and that's going to give us better results in our lives. And
Oh,
what a world we would have, right? If everybody just took a moment to take a deep breath and think about those thoughts and feelings and shift that a little bit before they take that action or they make that next statement or move. And that's how we create the sea change, in my opinion.
oh, I want to find out what is a sea change. Can you talk more
Oh,
about that? Yeah.
so it's interesting. I remember listening to this book on tape so many when I was a little kid on the way to school. My mom used to play these books on tape. So I must have been probably 11 or 12. And I just remember this one story, and it talked about a sea change. And a sea change is just a mass shift that is like global, right? So it's a global shift, a global change that, hopefully is going to be for the better, right? And so I always think of, or that's what came to mind when I was thinking about a radically different way of, excuse me, of helping to teach children how to meditate, and just these very simple practices of deep breathing and controlling your breathing, of how by controlling your breathing, you take your awareness out of the external and you focus it inward, and you focus on your heart center. And then you can start feeling calmer. And when you're feeling calmer, then you can actually observe your thoughts. And so then if you understand that, well, you get to choose your thoughts aren't running you. You aren't your thoughts and you aren't your body. You're the consciousness, right? You are the soul, the spirit that is above all of it and is connected to everything, because we are all connected. And so if you decide, you know what, I don't like that thought, I'm going to change it. And you do that and you instantly feel better. Why not do that with every thought you have that doesn't serve you or doesn't make you feel good, right? And you can. And when you do that, it actually, the world will start to reflect that back to you, and you can experiment with it. And I think kids are perfect for this because, they tend to invest their entire being into these things, right? They have such a vivid imagination, which is beautiful. Our imaginations are one of our most powerful tools. And as we get older, we're told to stop daydreaming and to stop doing this and to tamp it down. No, we should be encouraged. We should be encouraged to nurture that, to grow it, because that's where our creative faculties come from. And that's where everything creative in the world comes from, is our imaginations. Everything is first a thought, and then it becomes a thing. So encouraging children to understand this process and how this is a feedback loop, and they can start choosing better thoughts and changing and using this feedback loop, then they get to start creating more fun, even magical lives that other people are saying, how did that happen? Well, you can do it too. And then you start following the process. And, that's what I love about the Brave Thinking tools, and being certified as a Brave Thinking life transformation coach and guide, is these tools are infused in the book. And honestly, I didn't even realize it until later on when I started reading through the book, because I got certified as a Brave Thinking Institute coach through the Brave Thinking Institute with Mary Morrissey back in, what was it, February of 2021, 22. And the book, I didn't finish it until last summer, and I got published, or I self-published in March of this year. So as I was revising it and rewriting the word, the scenarios and everything, these Brave Thinking tools that I had learned were being infused in the scenarios.
Exactly.
So it's really powerful.
Well, let's take a deep breath in here because there are so many nuggets here. And what a beautiful a gift of hope and faith that this is, that you are, and as a mom in this generation. So what we like to do every week is to put a blessing on our speakers and
Yes.
ask you, um, what would you love to have us hold, us as a community hold for you? And oh, before we go, I'm gonna put the Amazon link for the book in the
Oh,
comments. So I know everybody's gonna be
yes.
asking for that. I'm gonna do that. So let me rewind. Okay, what what would you love to have us hold for you, Julie Deanne? And what would you love?
Honestly, my number one goal and my mission in life is to get meditation in schools and to get it out there for all children. And that's what I want. Just whatever way that that is possible, if it's through you and through other groups, that because there are more and more groups that I'm hearing about that are getting this message out and making this mission possible, but to help all of the children because they are our future. And this is how we're going to increase the frequency on the planet and shift our world into a better and higher state of being and help everybody live better lives and thrive. And that's what we all want.
Oh, okay. So it is. Ooh. All right.
Yes.
Here we go. Now we're getting the energy, and we're gonna send it to you from all over the planet to you in your continued work. And it's work, and it's in every day. And we're here
Work
to
of love.
support you. Here you go. You ready to catch it? There you go.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. This is a
I'm gonna reflect it back.
definitely to be continued here. So thank you so much for coming on. We're second week. I love how we're on, the gift of love, the gift of hope and faith and meditation. And that's going to lead us into next week with our gift of peace. So
Beautiful.
can y'all see it? It's a
Mhm.
sea change. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Judy. Thank you all. Bless you.